I mentioned to you that we are going to have a test on Friday. So I wanted to make sure that you heard that you processed that you understand that on Friday we're going to have a test over pretty much almost all of second or third trimester. Okay? Because this has been a long unit. I started writing the test yesterday, and it goes all the way back to the beginning of April. So I just want you to be aware of that. I will give you something tomorrow that will be something like a study guide or review sheet or similar, okay? But I want you to know that on Friday there will be a test over all that stuff. It's not intended to be hard. It's not intended to be tricky, but it is intended to make sure that you followed through and you understand all of that content, okay? Yesterday, when we finished our class, we finished by looking at that soil triangle, the one that you've got in front of you now at your table. We are going to look at your samples that you took on Friday in just a moment. But before we do that, to make sure that everybody is on the same page, we're going to go ahead and just try one more practice. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that I know, because I put it there, a question like this on the test. So, kids, you need to know how to do this. The reason I'm telling you this now is that if you are that person that often just turns off your brain and says, oh, I'll let somebody else figure it out, this is not the time to do that. Are you with me? Everybody at your table needs to understand this. So make sure that you share the fun, share the excitement, and figure out the type of soil that we have here, okay? 45% silt, 10% sand, 45% clay. Share the fun, make sure everybody's got it. I'm going to give everybody some time. Okay. Hand the paper over to the other side of your table so that they can do it as well. Go ahead and do it, my friends. Get started. Shh, just chill out. Not a surprise. Show it up to you on Friday. All right. Let's work through this together. I want to make sure that every person understands this. So let's take a look at what's going on. There are three axes that we have to look at, right? It says 45% silt. Which side am I looking at? The left, the right, or the bottom? The right-hand side? The right-hand side. So I'm going to look at the right-hand side. There's silt. Where do I find the 45? How do I find it? I find the 40 and the 50, and it's going to be between them, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, and you see how these arrows go down on these kind of diagonals? So the 45 line is going to come down right in between the 40 and the 50. Okay? Next one I'm going to do is sand. Sand says 10%. Am I going to look at the left or the bottom to find the sand?
On the bottom.
We're just going to look at the labels, right? This one says percent clay on the left. This one says percent sand on the right. So we're going to do the bottom. We're looking for 10%. 10% is right along one of those lines. Are you with me there? Okay, so we're just going to follow that line straight up. Okay. Now, somebody in my last period said, so you don't really need the third one, right? Do you see that the third one isn't really necessary? But it's also nice to double check. Because you may have made a mistake. It's possible. You all are exceedingly smart. But everybody makes mistakes sometimes. So let's take a look and make sure. So we're going to look at clay. We're now looking at the left side because we haven't done that one yet, right? We're going to line it up. We're going to find clay at 45%. And oh my goodness, there it is. Now you know for sure. Thank you. Now you know for sure that soil is what kind of soil?
Silty clay.
Boom. Silty clay. All right? Questions about that? Because you're going to get to do it on your own in just a moment here. Now, do you think when you go over to get your beakers that it's going to say what the percentage is of each of those things? It's not. Pull out that lab sheet, the one that we started on Friday. The soil lab sheet that we started on Friday. Can you find that one? It was a white paper. It looked like this. Does anybody else need one?
Oh, that one. Right here.
So we're going to pull this sheet out. You're going to flip it over because that's where we're looking, is on the back. On the back of your sheet, It will walk you through how to do the percentages. We've let our soil sample sit. Now we need to measure things. So you're going to get a ruler. You're going to measure in centimeters, right? I was making sure I'm pointing the right side. The centimeter side. You're going to figure out the thickness of the sand, of the silt, and of the clay. So you're going to line it up and measure. We're measuring centimeters. Centimeters are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 30. How many little lines are there between the 1 and the 2? What did we say? There are 10, yeah. The reason I want to point that out to you is that it might not end up that it's a perfect centimeter, like it's not just 2 centimeters and 4 centimeters. So if it goes in between, then you're going to use those little lines, right? And if it goes over 4 lines, then it's going to be 0.4. And if it goes over 6 lines, it's going to be 0.6. So you're going to measure. I want everybody to get a chance to measure. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 measurements to do. There are 4 of you at a table. There are no more than 4, so everybody gets an opportunity to measure something. And if you want to double check and have somebody else measure it for you, that's awesome. Please feel free to do that. But make sure that you measure, and make sure that you pay attention. When you're measuring the silt, you don't measure from the bottom to the top of the silt. You're going to measure from the bottom of the silt to the top, so it's going to be smaller, right? And then the thickness of the clay is up here. And then you're going to do that total thickness. You will use those 3 measurements to find the percentages. Sand thickness divided by total thickness will give you the percentage, okay, of sand, etc. And then you have the opportunity to do the same thing that we did on the capture question to figure out how much or what kind of soil you have. Questions about what you'll need to do? Okay. So everybody's got soil samples over there. Go ahead and grab the bag of soil as well because we're going to use that next. Okay? Go ahead and grab it. I've got rulers up here. I'll put them right up here. Make your measurements. Okay? Yes. Yeah, you guys can both move over there. Does that sound good? Yeah. You're going to go over and work with Mariana and Jackson as well.
And then this is that blue sheet.
Awesome. Okay.
I think this is that worksheet that you wanted me to do that was like from a lab. It's just the bottom half of the questions.
Okay.
You pointed out.
Do you want me to take a look at it for a second here?
Yeah.
Okay, hold on just a sec.
I had the top piece of it too, but that was just information about the lab.
Gotcha. Hold on just a second. Okay.